Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I have decided to talk about Selena Gomez's new songs. I know that there is a lot of buzz around them, and I have the imagination, I have seen some of the videos and the tea and all of that, but I thought that I share also my perspective and give you some of the things that I noticed and I feel. Um, certain things that we need to talk about here is that, like many of the rumors go around here, whether the video has been actually purposefully, like something that is aimed at Mrs. Bieber and, somewhat kind of like to, sabotage that relationship or pin in that point. And to be honest, just kind of like to cut to the core, I think the context is known by all of you. I think anyone who is clicking on this video is already, kind of like familiar with the basics, so I just kind of like cut right in. I believe that this has not been anything to upset anyone or to consciously go there. I think in general the relationship between women is a very special one when it comes to, a guy involved. And I have, it's not like I have no idea why that is. It's like that I still am floored, like how this really genetic, biological inscription is still influencing us as, human, civilized human beings nowadays. But kind of like, to be exact, I would feel that there is two things going around in one time. I am certain that Selena Gomez is such a person who really just wanted to express herself artistically. And recently I have been seeing a video of I will link it below. It is actually this was a radio interview put on YouTube where she's actually technically explaining that she was actually waiting and she was hesitant when to post the video and when to make it public, and she says that, hey, I have been waiting, and I have been not commenting, and I have been slowly kind of like just quietly crying in the background, and meanwhile I have been working in the background, like dealing with my own emotions and etc. And I have been not speaking, I have been not blocking other people to enjoy their peace or enjoy their happiness and etc. But her time has come now, and to be honest, I am super proud that she's out here in public and giving this, being a role model kind of like for that just because you're an evolved human being, it doesn't mean that you should cease to exist and that your emotions should cease to exist. And that's why I'm actually in this way 100% believing, like her, or I would say that I am, sort of approving that she did this. Not like I am any, form of authority here, but I think it is super important. I don't know, this is just my opinion, so I'm sharing my opinion. And on the other side, the fact that Hailey Bieber is feeling threatened by it, I can empathize with that as well. I think, this kind of Instagram response of, like this screenshot of this song, I Will Kill You, it is just so petty, and she's just so freaking transparent. I don't think that there is any person on earth who doesn't see through it, that this is just not a coincidence. And, sometimes it is very, very true that, people blow up certain actions of people, and that happens, absolutely. But I think she just kind of like dumbly thought that, she can use this as a way of excuse, and she can kind of like push it under the rug when she's, in reality is like just out in the open, doing certain things so obviously. So okay, let's break it down how, like Hailey can feel, threatened by this. As far as I know, and as far as I think you guys know, Hailey has been actually a fan of Justin Bieber and Selena Gomez being together. And to be honest, I believe that has been genuine. I believe that, like there was a point in her life when, like she had been seeing all these happenings, and she actually totally, like felt for them as a couple and did not intend to intrude. I have no details. There is very, very few people who know details about kind of like how she got into contact with Justin, how they become involved. But number one, it's also none of our business, but number two, I think very few people know the details about that. Nevertheless, I do not feel that she would have been such a person who would have intentionally come between two people. So I think in a way her response is defending her territory, kind of like feeling insecure about what this song might evoke in Justin, kind of rightfully so. I think, you don't need to be a man to be able to look into a male soul, but at the same time, even when you are female, male, or anything, I think it is very, very hard for, anybody to kind of like size up what's going on in a person's mind. And, I do not know. To be honest, I feel that, as Justin said, Selena is always going to have a place in his heart, but his heart is right now with Hailey. And I think he meant that, and I think he, stands by that. And yes, part of me thinks that some of these conditions have actually an expiry date on them. Not love itself, but some sort of the relevance of some things. And whether this is going to be applied to Hailey or Selena, we have no clue. There are so many factors out there, so many years out there, which will play kind of like, some sort of an influence on how things are going to turn out. So technically, what has no relevance at the moment at all might kick in 5 years later, when suddenly Hailey and Justin will have an incredible, I do not know, fight. Or in 2 months there is going to be something happening between Justin and Hailey, which is going to still bring them close enough that it is going to be forging an ever stronger connection, and etc. So we cannot know this, and I think this is what most people do not really dare to see in a relationship, that technically anything that is happening, no matter how life-saving or how devastating it might seem now, in 2 months, 2 years, 20 years can change the entire narrative, can change the entire relationship, and that's something which actually we just cannot calculate out by default. So what I would actually be kind of like closing this mini response with is that I think the most important issue to be addressed is that how can you as women go about, number one, handling these sort of emotions when you are confronted with that. How can you kind of like separate like your involvement in something with like another person's like internal processing and how can you kind of like in this way be in your own might and not feel threatened by such like a thing. And I know that it might be hard because it's really, really public, but I think the key here is to recognize what is hers and what is mine, and to recognize kind of like the non-threat of all of these things. Also, not to blame any female for making a song or writing about it or expressing their opinion, but actually have trust in your mate, how they are going to be handling it. Because I can tell you, yes, there can be certain things done by external factors that can influence a person in changing their minds, but then what sorts of strengths has this relationship by default when external influences in this way can so heavily shake somebody up? And the emphasis is not even on the shaking up part, but the consecutive actions that are going to be following. So I say that instead of the two women kind of like going to each other's necks, or in this case Hailey Bieber kind of like going on to Selena Gomez's neck, I would say that she should rather place her attention and her trust actually inside herself and inside her partner. And this is where actually the answer lies, not in anything else that happens in the external world. And I think this is kind of like the point. I hope that you enjoy these insights. If you have another opinion and if you think that I have missed out an angle, please let me know in the comments. I'm actually incredibly curious to hear and read. And other than that, see you guys in my next video. Mwah!